Apologies. Good evening. It is 7:30, and I would like to call tonight's January 24th meeting to order. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the crow. Just wait 1 minute for the microphones to be turned. Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
McHale.
Here.
Budmats.
Present.
O'Brien.
Here.
Veneziano. Here. Bessesi.
Here.
Reyes.
Here.
Sunoika.
Here. With 7 present and none absent, there is a quorum. Therefore, members of the audience are reminded that these proceedings are being videotaped for current and future broadcast over the city's cable television channel. Our first order of business is to approve minutes from the previous meeting, January 10th City Council meeting. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka, and a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, the question is, shall the minutes be approved? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. There's no mayor's report tonight. Are there any ward reports this evening? There are no ward reports. So we're going to open the meeting for public comment for 20 minutes. There is no one on the sign-in sheet, so we will go ahead and move on to pending ordinances. The first ordinance for this evening is ordinance number 23-2, adopt various amendment, excuse me?
I'm sorry.
What did I?
Mayor Pro Tem. I think someone walked in and just didn't get her name on.
I came late, I'm sorry. I would like to ask a question. Is it possible?
I'm going to defer to city attorney to let me know what we need to do in this situation.
It's up to the city council's discretion to allow the proceedings to be open to the member of the public that's just identified. So if we could get a motion to open the floor
I'll move
for
to open
public
the floor.
comment.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, if you'd like to, Take
roll
a-
call vote.
It's a
Roll.
quick question.
okay,
Okay.
give me 1 second. We're going to go ahead and take a roll call vote to open the floor for your comment. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
7 in favor and none opposed. I need to read this? No?
It's okay.
Do I need to read it? Okay. All right, your name, if you could please,
Roxanne Summer, and I live in the Saratoga condominiums on the south side, I'd say. I live on the south side.
I'm sorry, could you say your last name again?
Summer, like the season. And Roxanne is spelled with 1 N,
Okay,
R-X-A-N-E.
thank you very much.
Okay, so I tried to contact Public Works a few times. It's a pretty minor thing, but it's important to us who live in Saratoga. There's a LED street light right at the entrance. There's 2 entrances and the street lights in the middle on Algonquin Road. On the south side of Algonquin Road. It's been out forever. And I'm asking if they can fix it. Because it's very dark there. So that's it.
Okay,
It's possible somebody can help me with that.
thank you very much, Ms.
Appreciate
Sim.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will have the city staff look into that situation for you.
Move to close the floor.
Second.
Thank you very much for the first, Alderman Sonoyka, and the second, Alderman Bessesi. Now I have to remember what I left off. Okay, and if I could have the clerk please call the roll to close the floor?
Sunoika.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Reyes.
Yes. Okay, that moves us on to the pending ordinances. We're going to start with item A, ordinance number 23-2, to adopt various amendments to the City of Rolling Meadows Code of Ordinances for second reading. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sunoika, for the first, and for a second?
Second?
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, the question is, shall the ordinance be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
McHale.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
With 7 in favor and none opposed, this ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is an ordinance for first reading that was continued at our November 22nd, 2022 meeting, directing the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider changing this ordinance from the permitted use to special use. Ordinance number 23-00 to amend sections 122-42, 122-88, and 122-331 of the City of Rolling Meadows Zoning Code of Ordinances to define and regulate tobacco, vape, and CBD shops as special uses in the C1 and C2 zoning districts for first reading. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance for first reading?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sunoika, and
Second.
thank you, Alderman Veneziano, for the second. Is there any discussion?
Right here.
Okay, we have 3. Alderman Veneziano, why don't you go ahead and start?
Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item until possibly the next meeting if this item is still on the agenda for our next cow.
Okay.
I'll defer to city manager on just to confirm that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So the committee of the whole at which we will be discussing the tobacco licensing procedures of the city is scheduled for February 21st.
Okay.
And the following meeting thereafter would be the 28th. So if this were to be postponed to after that committee of the whole, the 28th would be the date to which it would be postponed to.
Okay. Then my motion would be to postpone this to February 28th.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Veneziano. Alderman Veneziano. Alderman O'Brien.
Do we need a first or
Oh,
a second
sorry.
for the motion?
Can I have a first for Alderman Veneziano's motion to postpone until the 28th?
Second.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I need a second for that.
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Budmats, for the second. Now, what do we do?
Any discussion?
Oh, is there any discussion on this? Alderman Sunoika.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So I just wanted some clarification for the proposal, or I'm sorry, the proposed to delay until the next meeting, until after the committee of the whole. Is the zoning related to? Yeah, can you just elaborate on that?
Sure.
Thank you.
So when we originally put this on for tonight's agenda, this zoning committee was going to have met, and it was going to be our cow meeting discussion would have been completed for us to have discussed it and voted on it this evening. Since our topic for this past cow meeting last week was postponed, the two did not coincide. So that's why I'm proposing postponing.
Okay, and then a follow-up is, does this affect any businesses that we have in flight right now?
We do have one applicant who is waiting for the text amendment on Central to begin. If this was approved, they'd then have to begin the special use procedure. I think our thought is that this zoning text amendment could proceed, and that any other business licensing provisions or whatever other issues the council might want to bring up during the committee of the whole could be amended to the business license, or if further amendments were required to the zoning code, then we could do them at that time. Because it's a special use, if you proceeded, you could attach any conditions that you wanted to make in the ordinance that would address specific situations for that tenant. So you have options. You could do it either way.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Alderman O'Brien?
Thanks, that was the same question I had. Thanks so much for all the women Veneziano. My question then, is this going to be to the committee of the whole on the 21st, or is it coming right back? Because I don't understand, if we delay it to the next council meeting, we're going to be in the same boat we were tonight. Or is it going to go on the 21st for cow?
So the discussion on the 21st would be related to the tobacco licensing procedures of the
Okay.
city, which are separate from the consideration that's on the agenda for this evening, which is a zoning consideration.
Right.
So if the council desires that the two be somewhat handled together, then the 21st is the committee of the whole meeting at which we would discuss the licensing components, and then if the direction is to proceed on this zoning change, we would bring it back on the 28th. As was mentioned by Assistant Director Charlton, the business licensing components functionally are different than the zoning components. However, the council can choose to take them together or bifurcate the two.
And the motion before the city council is to postpone to the February 28th meeting, so that postponement would be would be considered after the committee of the whole meeting.
Where this was originally going to be discussed at the January Committee of the Whole, that we ended up canceling? Or that was the separate licensing one?
That was the licensing conversation,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, not the zoning consideration. This previously came to the city council. Council directed it back to the PZC for further discussion about changing the use to a special use requirement. And so that meeting had been held, the direction was provided, which brings us back to the consideration before the council this evening.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Okay. So, is there a motion to postpone this until the 28th of February?
That motion
Right.
has been
Okay, is there-
presented and seconded.
And seconded. Okay, so now, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bud Matts.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
No.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
No.
McHale.
Yes. Okay. With 5 in favor and 2 opposed, the ordinance will be moved forward, or will be postponed until February 28th. Okay. That brings us to item C. Ordinance for first reading, ordinance number 23-00, to authorize a special use pursuant to section 122-3013 of the City of Rolling Meadows zoning code of ordinances to allow an automobile and/or truck repair facility for an exception to section 122-157-6H to allow continued use of a facility that does not provide compliant parking lot lighting for a variation from section 122-78A4 for an enclosed refuse screening area located in the required 30-foot corner side yard, and to allow a non-conforming 210-square-foot wall sign to remain on applicant's tenant space, all to accommodate an automobile and/or truck repair facility in an M1 zoning district at 3737 Industrial Drive. Is there a motion to consider the ordinance for first reading?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Veneziano, for the first, and the second.
Second.
Thank you, Alderman O'Brien. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, Alderman Alderman Bud Matts.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So I'm willing to work and vote for this, the first reading, but in reading the discussion of this, I was very troubled by the fact that the owner of the property doesn't make any direct promises to the staff. Everything is based on what the tenant says that they think that the owner is willing to do. And honestly, I don't think that the tenant has the ability to speak for the owner, and I don't want to trust the tenant's testimony when the owner is the person who's going to be held responsible, especially based on the fact where this property is located, so close to 53, so close to the potential Bears Stadium. I don't want us to make a mistake, all because we have a tenant who's eager to move into a space that would serve their purposes. So I'd really like to hear from staff. I'd like staff to have a conversation with the owner of the property, not with the proposed tenant. And if the owner's not willing to speak with and make commitments to staff that are in line with the commitments that the tenant is making, then we need to know that prior to voting on this on the second reading. So I guess my vote tonight will be yes, but next week, next meeting, if this comes up again and we don't have any input from staff as to where the property owner stands on the commitments that the tenant is saying that the owner is willing to make, then I would be voting no, because I want to know that the owner's really behind us and the owner's really going to do all of these things that they say they're going to do.
Okay. Manager Sabo?
Yes, thank you. So we have been engaged in through this process with the owner of Mullen Motors. He was part of the application process in the sense that he had to approve the application moving forward, given the fact that this is a proposal to co-locate this business on their property. To that point, though, we're happy to follow up with the owners and to bring them back to a discussion to get those commitments, and then we can put whatever the final outcome of those conversations into the staff report for the next council meeting.
Thank you so much.
Any other discussion? Okay. The question is, shall this ordinance be moved forward to second reading? Will the clerk please call the roll?
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
With 7 in favor and unopposed, the ordinances will be moved forward for second reading. Okay. On to new business. Motion to approve payment of bills on warrant for January 24th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Reyes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk, the question is, shall the warrant be approved? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bessesi.
Yes.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
With 7 in favor and unopposed, the warrant is approved. On to consent resolutions. This consists of 6 items, E through J. Does any alderman wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for resolutions? Okay. Seeing none, the chair declares it that in order for one motion to consider 6 resolutions or in one motion without debate, is there such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka for the first, and
Second.
Alderman O'Brien for the second. Okay. Item E, resolution number 23-R-06, to renew an annual subscription for maintenance of VMware services. Item F, resolution number 23-R-07, renew annual subscription of Cisco SmartNet maintenance for the city's network switches. Resolution number 23-R-08, to renew an annual subscription of Cisco phone systems, licensing, and support. Item H, resolution number 23-R-09, to approve and ratify emergency repairs to the city's water and sewer infrastructure for repairs at 2201 Campbell Street, 3975 Algonquin Road, and 2907 Grouse Lane, completed by Aries, Inc. for a not-to-exceed amount of $37,889.41. Item I, resolution number 23-R-10, to approve the fiscal year 2023 motor fuel tax appropriations for the Rebuild Illinois Program for Public Works Road Reconstruction Program. And item J, resolution number 23-R-11, to authorize a performance bonus for city manager Rob Sabo. The question is, shall the resolutions be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Bessesi.
Yes.
Reyes.
Yes.
Sunoika.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
With 7 in favor and unopposed, the resolutions are adopted. That brings us to other business and reports. There are no mayor appointments tonight. There are no mayor proclamations. There is no city clerk's report. That brings us to city staff reports, and I will go ahead and defer to the community items of interest to Manager Sabo.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Slightly longer report this evening, so bear with me. I got to get through some important information just to update the community on our aggregation program, which I know there's been some questions about. So I'd like to start by providing a brief update on the aggregation program in light of letters that were recently sent by ComEd pertaining to the city's alternative supply contract, which is ending at the end of this month. The City of Rolling Meadows procures electricity supply on behalf of residents and small businesses, a program also known as electricity aggregation, to provide a lower rate than available from ComEd. the city's current contract with Dynegy, which has provided a fixed rate of 6.9 cents per kilowatt hour over the life of the contract from January of 2020 to current, is ending at the end of this month. All Rolling Meadows electricity customers who participated in the aggregation program will be transitioned back to ComEd's electricity supply at its current rate of 9.665 cents per kilowatt hour in February of this year. Letters were recently mailed by ComEd announcing this upcoming change. The transition will not result in any changes to your electricity service, and ComEd will continue to be responsible for your billing and customer service. At this time, the city continues to seek a competitively priced contract which will create savings versus ComEd. Given unprecedented volatility in the energy markets over the past year, the city has not yet entered into a successor contract. The city is continuing to work diligently to obtain competitive pricing, with the ultimate goal of avoiding a scenario where ComEd's rate may be lower than the aggregation rate. Given that ComEd's rate does change twice per year in May and October, and the new ComEd rate, as it fluctuates, is not known until shortly before the effective date. If the city enters into a new contract, the city will provide updates via all communication modalities. Residents can choose to contract with an alternative electricity supplier on an opt-in basis. The Illinois Commerce Commission provides the Plug-in Illinois website, which is Plug-in Illinois, all together, no spaces or hyphens, pluginillinois.org, which offers information about alternative supply offers that individuals can opt into, with information about ComEd supply rate as well. The city cannot recommend opt-in alternative supply vendors, as we don't have an agreement or relationship with them. However, we do encourage residents to carefully review any offers prior to signing up. Some contracts may be more expensive than the ComEd rate, or some may impose a penalty for cancellations. Our best advice ultimately is to read the fine print to ensure you understand all the terms of your supply agreement, and if you choose to come off of that agreement, you can do so without penalty. Ultimately, as stated, our goal is to secure a contract that will provide our community a savings versus the ComEd rate, and we'll continue working towards that goal. Residents may contact City Hall with any questions on the electric aggregation program by calling 847-394-8500. The city's annual Holiday Light Recycling Program continues through February 7th. Holiday lights, extension cords, and power strips can be dropped into one of the collection boxes outside of City Hall here at 3600 Kirchhoff Road. Interested in a career in local government? The City of Rolling Meadows is a great place to work. The city currently has a few different full-time positions open and is accepting applications, including the IT Business Analyst, Public Works Management Analyst, Water Maintenance, and Refuse Maintenance positions. Plus, there are valuable seasonal opportunities for high school and college students in the Public Works Department, such as clerical, maintenance, and engineering intern positions. Visit cityrm.org/jobs for details and more information. Residents from Rolling Meadows and Palatine have united to form People Helping People, an organization with a mission to ensure that students have access to basic needs. A free store or comfort closet will be available for Rolling Meadows high school students through February 15th. These comfort closets will rotate to other schools and shelters throughout the year. Please consider donating new items from their wish list shown on the city's website and Facebook page. Local collection sites include City Hall, Rolling Meadows City Hall, 3600 Kirchhoff Road, the Rolling Meadows Library, and Reps Place. Look for the purple collection boxes near the front doors. Finally, I'd like to take a brief moment to introduce the city's new Assistant City Manager / Community Development Director, Glenn Cole. Glenn started with the city yesterday and came to us from the village of Lake Bluff, where he served as the assistant to the village administrator for just under 6 months. I think we grabbed you 1 month short of that 6 month. What's that?
6 years.
6 years, sorry. I was focused on months. 1 month short of the 6-year mark. A 6-year extensive, a great career at Lake Bluff. So at Lake Bluff, he focused on administrative and community development functions. Glenn's a highly respected member of the local government profession and has served in various leadership roles in the Illinois Association of Municipal Management Assistants, and he is also active in the American Planning Association. Prior to his time with the Village of Lake Bluff, he served as a management analyst with the City of Mission, Kansas. Glenn is a certified planner by the American Institute of Certified Planners, also known as an AICP, and he holds a Bachelor of Journalism from the University of Missouri and a Master's of Public Administration from the highly prestigious University of Kansas program, which is the number one ranked MPA program in the country. Please join me in welcoming Glenn to the Rolling Meadows team. That concludes all my items this evening. Thank you.
Great. Welcome, Glenn. Looking forward to working with you. We do have a February 14th City Council draft agenda. If you'd like to speak on that, Manager Sabo.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. There are a couple of ordinances on here that I believe will be pushed back based on, first of all, tonight's direction on the tobacco vape and CBD shops item, and also based on the timeline that was directed for the Anna's Red Apple. When that was considered November 22nd, there was a direction provided to bring that back after a 90-day period. I believe we have a couple meetings more left before that 90 days is up. The second reading of the Mullen Motors BBA item is on this upcoming agenda. We'll follow up with the additional requested items from the council. Additionally, on resolutions at this time, we do have the purchase and installation of an electric charging equipment for the City Hall parking lot. This is in anticipation of the upcoming purchase of a Chevy Bolt for a replacement inspector vehicle. The nice thing about electric vehicles on the municipal front is that we don't pay for electricity, so this is free fuel for these electric vehicles. Additionally, we have the annual adoption of the zoning map, and then the purchase and installation of walk lights on Kirchhoff Road. The agenda that's included in the packet is a draft, and the final version will be posted on the city's website in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any matters not on the agenda this evening? Alderman Veneziano.
Thank you. Really quick. So I was hoping that staff could have some conversations with our neighbors in Arlington Heights for it used to be the mobile gas station on the corner of New Wilkie and Central Road. It kind of borders, my ward and Alderman Bassesi's ward. Had a lot of vandalism lately, and we've been noticing a lot of just abandoned cars. They're no longer open for business. I did notice that they were out there painting maybe a week ago, some vandalism. The owners were out there painting, but if we could have a conversation with them on what their plans are for that business and just kind of keeping up with it and keeping an eye on it, I'd appreciate it.
We absolutely will do that.
Thank you.
Are there any? Alderman Budmats.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry I didn't bring this up under ward reports, but I did receive a call about a stop sign on Algonquin Parkway that is upside down. So it would be at the corner of Algonquin Parkway and Algonquin Road, southbound. I would have called, but I just heard about it. So if you could, that'd be great.
Not a problem. Happy to follow up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other items not on the agenda? Okay, we do have a closed session on the books tonight. So I would like to entertain a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act regarding personnel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Sonoyka.
Second.
And Alderman Veneziano for the second. Is there any discussion? Great. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Reyes.
Yes.
Sonoyka.
Yes.
McHale.
Yes.
Budmats.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Veneziano.
Yes.
Bassesi.
Yes.
With 7 in favor and unopposed, we will now enter into closed session. The audience and press are advised that we do not anticipate taking any action upon returning to open session. That's it.
Beautiful.
Have a good night.